Hey guys, it's the Teensy back again with a maths video. Today we're going to look at parallel lines and all the properties of parallel lines, and this is for grade 11. I'm talking about corresponding co-interior angles, alternate angles. Those are things that we're going to actually be dealing with in today's video. So you better get your notebook ready, your calculator and your pen, and let's just get right into it. Okay, so I'm going to make this thing simple for your grade 9s as well as the grade 8 learners. I'm not so sure about grade 8, but grade 9 I'm pretty sure. Okay, so we're going to start with what we call parallel lines. I want you guys to get a good idea of parallel lines. So parallel lines, these are the lines which never meet. So let's say we have this line going here and also have this line. So these are known as lines when they're like that, but immediately when you see arrows on them, they are known as parallel lines. So that means that every time when you want to apply these properties, you are going to apply these properties only in parallel lines, the lines which have arrows. Okay, so this is what I just wanted you guys to know before we get right into actually the properties. Now, starting with the first property, that is all about what we call corresponding angles. So what we call corresponding angles, I like to think of them as letter F. So parallel lines have these properties in which in simple terms they are F, U, and N, which I like to call it fun. Okay, so it's just F, U, and N. So it's fun. So this F, it represents the corresponding angle, which what you need to know about it is that it's going to have an F shape. But another thing which is really important is that this line and also this line, they have to be parallel. So one thing about corresponding angles is that these angles, they are actually equal. So corresponding angles, they are equal. Let's say we have 40 degrees here. I know it looks like 90, guys. Okay, let me just say 90. So let's say we have a 90 degree here. So this angle is 90, and this is the angle which is below your what? Below your parallel line. So the angle below the parallel line to here will be also equal to 90. So this is just simple as that. Simple as that. So that means that here we're gonna have what? 90 degrees and 90 degree angle. So the angle below your parallel line will be the same as the angle below the other parallel line, because always the parallel lines work in pairs. I told you guys before, they work in pairs. So let's make another example. Let's say we have something like this, and then it is said that this one and this one, they are parallel. So, and then it is given that here you have 30 degrees. So if here you have 30 degrees, this is the angle formed below the parallel line. So the angle formed below the second parallel line is this angle, which means that that angle will simply be equal to 30 degrees. So let's just write it down, 30 degrees. So it's simple as that. So that's all that you need to know when it comes to corresponding angles. Now, I want us to look at U, which is also known as C sometimes, and that is what we call co-interior angles, and they are simple also. So this U, it's U or C, it actually represents co-interior angles. So for those who don't know, this sign, it means angles. Okay, so these co-interior angles are quite different, and I feel like that's why they are placed in the middle. They are so unique because the angles are not actually the same. But I want you all to listen to this clearly. The angles are not the same, but they add up to 180 degrees. So remember, I told you guys we're only going to apply these properties when we're looking at parallel lines. If we're not given lines which are parallel, this is really important. If you're not given lines which are parallel, do not apply this. Okay, so let's say we have this one. This one is U. It's U, but it's also C. Okay, so and it is said that this line and this line are parallel. What you need to know is that the angles which are actually the enclosed angles, they are equal to 180 degrees. What am I trying to say? This angle as well as this angle, they add up to 180 degrees. So then this means that, let's say here we have 30 degrees. What you're going to say, and then this angle, let's say it's angle A, you're going to say 30 degrees plus A will be equal to what? Will be equal to 180 degrees. And what's the reason? Remember, reasons are really important, grade 9s. So that means that you're going to circle your reason. It's equal to what? It's co-interior angles. Make sure you finish that up. It's co-interior angles. And then after that, you're just going to solve for A, the normal way. The normal way is solve for X, besties. So that means that we have A. And we have this thing. We don't want her here, so we're going to remove her by taking her to this other side. So that means that when she moves to the other side, she's going to change the side. So that means that we're going to be left with A. It's equals to 180. Remember, this 30 here was positive, and when it jumps the equal sign, it's going to be negative. So it's going to be 180 degrees minus 30 degrees, and that will be equal to 150 degrees. So that means that this angle, which is angle A, will simply be equals to 150 degrees, and that is all about co-interior angles. So I have told you guys before, co-interior angles are not equal, but they add up to 180 degrees, whereas whereas corresponding angles, as well as the angles that we're going to look at now, which is alternate angles, they are equal. Okay, so the simplest way to master what I have just said is just to know that, because in this thing called fun, the corresponding sorry, let me just firstly thingy. These co-interior angles are located in the middle. They add up to 180 degrees, but these two, they are the same. Their angles are the same. Okay, now let us look at the last one, which this one is my favorite one, guys. Please don't cover me. I know that there is someone who also loves alternate angles out there, but these ones, they are my favorite ones. Why? Because they're so simple to understand. Okay, so these and represent what we call the alternate angles. So these alternate angles can be sometimes in some schools they can just say Z. Okay, so it's the same thing. It's just an and, which is, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so let's just say we are given a shape that looks like a Z, and it is said that, remember, you can't apply this when you don't have parallel lines. So it is said that this one and these ones are parallel, and you are asked to find these angles. Let me say angle X, and this angle here is 40 degrees. So one thing that is so special also about alternate angles is that it's the same thing as corresponding angles. Their angles are equal, which means that the angles which are actually found here or opening up, let's say this is a shark, it is opening up its mouth, and also here it is opening up its mouth, which means that the angles in which the shark's mouth forms, it's equal. They are all equal. Okay, so let's say, so that means that we're gonna say X. What's happening with my things, with my whiteboard markers? Okay, so that means that your X will be equal to 40 degrees. The reason being alternate angles. So it's simple as that. What you need to know is that the angles on the shark's mouth are equal. Let's say here we have 20 degrees. Here we're also going to have 20 degrees. So that's all when it comes to the properties of parallel lines. I hope you all have understood and mastered this topic. Bye, and see you guys on my next video. Bye.